Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon all of you. Minisama Kanitiwa. I am so proud to be here in Japan. Japan is one of the most important inspiration country that most of the human being, most of the world, most of the people in the world looking after its progress in many fields, especially the moral progress and also the economic progress, so we are so proud of Japan. We are so proud of Japanese, especially all this growth and all this progress came after the ugly war and came after the total destruction of Japan after the throw of the nuclear weapons in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So glory to Japan, glory to Japanese people. Thank you for giving us that great inspiration that a nation can do a lot, that a nation can lead the change in their countries and around the world. Thank you so much. I love Japan a lot. And here I want to say it in Japanese, Nihonga desuki desu. Dear sisters and brothers, I'm gonna speak about the most important challenges that face the human being today. There's many challenges that face human being, and let's start with the rising of the global warming. The global warming that led to the climate change, the increasing human being activities in collapsing the ecological system and the biological diversity of our Mother Earth, that led to the global warming and also, the climate change. Now we are witnessing it, with the increasing of, all that kind of catastrophe inside our Earth. So this is one of the most important challenges that faces our humanity, and we should be united to stop this global warming. And without our collective work on this regard, we will witness ourselves and the next generation will not have any chance to live inside this earth. So our existence really under threat in this earth because of the bad activities of human being on, that increase that activities that increase the global warming. So this is one of the most important challenges that faces the human being. The second important challenges that faces the human being is the vast gap between poor and wealth, poor and rich people, poor and rich countries. This gap is increasing every day. And there is no real global act to decrease this gap between rich countries and poor countries, between rich people and poor people. And this gap creates a lot of problems, a lot of crises, and creates a lot of wars, a lot of violence at the same time. The third challenges that faces our humanity is the global peace itself, the global security itself. Now the war is increasing. We witness in this generation, in these days, we witness the Russia invasion to Ukraine, the Russia-Ukraine war, the Palestinian-Israeli war, the tension in China, Thailand, and this escalating threat, a lot of threats to use the nuclear weapons. So the global peace really, and security really under threat and under attack. So these wars, these conflicts between nations and within nations itself, it's really, really threaten our humanity. And it's one of the biggest challenges that we face. The fourth challenge that all human beings and our humanity is facing is the human rights itself, protecting human rights itself. All the progress that human beings achieved in the human rights field, especially after the creation of the United Nations, all the conventions, all the agreements, resolutions, unfortunately, most of them didn't have a chance to be implemented. So the deterioration in human rights situation, the deterioration that faces the democracy camp, that the democracy itself under threat, including the well-known democratic countries, US, Britain, Europe. So the increasing of the hate, racism, xenophobia, Islamophobia, and dictatorship. The increasing of the movement, the far-right movement in these democratic countries, and the return of dictatorship in our countries, in the developed countries, in Arab countries, in Africa, the return of the coup, militias, and authoritarian regimes. This is the fourth important challenge that faces the human being. And I think all of us should take a stand to stop the deterioration that faces, that threaten our Mother Earth, that threaten our global peace, that threaten the development, that threaten the human rights. And I think that will not be achieved without real cooperation between nations, between NGOs, between private sectors, and between individuals. But the most important thing to face these challenges, that we have an international body, the United Nations. This important international body, United Nations, who established to be the institution of the people, should have the capacity, the ability to protect our Mother Earth and to protect our human being. It should have the capacity and the ability to stop all the activities that harm the Earth's ecological system, the Earth's biological diversity. It should have the capacity and the ability to stop authoritarian regimes from oppressing their people and attacking human rights. It should have the capacity and ability to distribute the wealth between nations and people through binding a certain percentage to the rich countries and distribute it to the poor countries. And all of that should be something but as making the United Nations as a binding international government, as a binding international body. But unfortunately, now, current situation of the United Nations, it doesn't have any ability. Its structure is very weak. Its financial resources also, it's very weak. And its agreement resolution, it's like voluntarily. So if we want to face the challenges that threaten our common existence in this earth, we should push for making United Nations strong, for making this international body strong and has the binding ability to force government to fulfill their commitment. It's very important. And yesterday I knew that Japan did a great work on, or started a great effort on making or encouraging, transferring the United Nations to be that global government that has that binding, power. So I encourage Japan from here, from our summit, to continue its effort in this regard. Because with this solution, it will save not just us, it will save all the generations, all the coming generations. This is our duty. This is our duty. This is very important. So I'm calling you here, people who can play a good role in this field, from the government, from international NGOs, from private sector, to gather our effort to push for this important goal. This is number one, and one of our very important work to save our existence and our humanity. There is another thing which is also, especially when we talk about the deterioration inside of the global peace, the global security, and human rights. The humanity in this century are witnessing very hilarious, a very bad, a very awful crimes against humanity. In this age, in the 21st century, we are witnessing genocide and ethnic clicity in many parts of the world. We witnessed it with Rohingya people from the Myanmar Authority. We witnessed it with Igor from China. And now we are witnessing it against Palestinian people in Gaza. I condemn attacking civilians in Israel and in Gaza. That is an awful act, especially attacking women and children. I condemn that. Civilians should be away from all the horror of the war. So it's ugly to attack civilians, whether you are Palestinian, you are Hamas, or you are Israeli, or anyone else. It's ugly. But in addition to that, we should be so brave when we are talking about human rights issues. We should be brave when we talk about what is attacking the global peace, what is attacking the global security. Authoritarian regimes are attacking the global peace and the global security. Occupation, it attacks global peace and global security. So here, from this stage, I'm calling for ceasefire in Gaza. Yes, and I'm not afraid about this call. I'm not afraid about this call. From this state, the ceasefire in Gaza should start now. All this blood should stop. All this war should stop. I call for the release of every hostage and captives in Palestine and Israel. I call for lifting the blockade in Gaza. This ugly blockade that prevents water, prevents electricity, prevents medicine, prevents food to reach to the citizen. This is a crime against humanity. This is a war crime. And I am here in Japan, the strong country that grow after, disaster war. I'm calling for stopping genocide and ethnic cleansing in Palestine and Gaza. This is very important. This is very important. And I am calling for, and this is one of the most important things, to address the root of the conflict. We don't want this conflict, this war to continue forever. Our duty to stop it, and it will not stop if the resolutions of the UN, if the international resolutions and agreements didn't implement. And the most important resolution is the right of Palestinians for their self-determination. And for the right to have two states. And this is the international resolution. It is not my call, it is international resolution. It is a UN resolution. So this is the way to stop conflict and to stop war in Palestine and Israel. We should live as people who love each other. And we can do it. But the one who make the deterioration is the superpowers that put them in alliance with the injustice. The superpowers that didn't bring solution, that put them as a parties. So those superpowers should stop their rule on flaming and feeding the war and conflict. The same thing with the war in Ukraine. I fully support Ukrainian people in their battle for freedom. And I salute them, women and men, children, who are against the Russia occupation. We are in 21st century. All kind of occupation should stop if we want really global peace. Should stop. And if we let those countries to continue their aggression, we will not find a place for the next generations to live in. The same thing with people in Arab Spring countries. I am from Yemen, a country who revolted for peace, for justice, for democracy, for rule of law. A country who is part of Arab Spring. People took the street, go to the street peacefully, demonstrate peacefully for freedom, justice, democracy, and rule of law. And we succeeded in the first step of our peaceful revolution. We pushed 7 dictators to leave the authorities. During just 12 years, 7 dictators to leave the authorities. And we are so proud of that. But the problem is those dictators, after they left the authority, there was a counter-revolution that came as a revenge from the will of people for democracy and for peace. This counter-revolution takes many faces. War, civil war, terrorism, military coup, occupation. But the people is still sacrificing and struggling and willing to win their battle for freedom, democracy, and rule of law. We didn't give up. And all the chaos that you are seeing now is the result of the counter-revolution led by the countries that doesn't want democracy to prevail in our countries. The same thing now, the hatred and the racism that is arising in the West, unfortunately. It is because that the Western governments retreat from their commitment to protect the human rights. Even Putin, when he dared to invade Ukraine, he didn't do that because he doesn't have a vision or something. No, he knew or he expected that he will be immune from any kind of accountability. Because he invaded Syria and killed Syrian people without any kind of a good response, a strong response from international community against him. He thought that he took the red line to do whatever he wants. So it's very important to gather our collective work, our collective effort to make this world a better place. To make the globalization itself to be fair. The current globalization, unfortunately, its benefit just go to the rich countries and its disadvantages goes to the poor countries. Equality should be there. When we call for equality, it's equality for everything. So I'm here for the global SDGs, global governance, and this is the most important criteria for global governance. Finally, I really believe in the will of people, on their act. for making change, for creating change and making the future. I believe in everyone here that you can do the difference. You can do a great difference in your company, in your institutions, in your university, in your family. You can do a great work. And as my brother said, Kailash, and I'm repeating what he says, and this is also what I always say, that you have to dream. Dream big, dream bold, and don't afraid from your dream. Don't afraid from it. And decide to be in the front line of achieving your dream. So let's dream for a great world, a world free from corruption, a world free from injustice, a world free from terrorism, occupation, a world free from authoritarianism. Let's dream and work for peace, love, coexistence, democracy, and prosperity in our small village, this planet. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so
タワッ
much.
クル・カーマンさん、ありがとうございました。